Sharonda here with my special guest, Miss Ashanti. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm wonderful. Glad to have you over.
Happy to be here.
Yes, yes. So listen, guys, this is one of my nieces, and I just love her to death, and I just wanted to highlight some of the things that she's done and things that she's doing because I think this is a great opportunity as we work with our kids over the summer. An educator here who's going to be talking about, hey, what can we do to keep our kids busy this summer, okay? But then we're going to shift our conversation and talk about a topic that we really need to hear about. So bear with us. So tell us what you got going on.
Well, I'm a high school science teacher. I taught middle school last year. I'm moving up to high school. I'm super excited. I'll be teaching Earth Environmental Science in Durham. So very excited for that. I just finished working a science camp this summer where I taught some littles. I taught grades K through 12, and it was super fun.
All right. So what can we do this summer to keep our kids engaged in science?
There's a lot of things you can do to keep your kids engaged, and technology, there's nothing wrong with technology, but we do have to limit children's screen time. And if we're going to allow them to have so much screen time, we need to make it productive. And so there are a lot of resources out there. Number one, the library is one. Taking your kids to the library, which is a free resource, having them check out a book or two, one fiction and one nonfiction to have them read over the summer is a great thing to do. Also, there's apps that are on your phone that can identify plants and animals and birds. And so you can make that a fun activity, going outside and doing a nature walk and having your kids, take pictures of what's outside, what they can find, and identifying those animals.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do a plug-in for your local library. Here in Warren County, I just want to say go by there. They have a lot of things on their schedule for the summer and for the fall when school starts. So go by your local library. For people in Warren County, make sure you go by the Warren County Library. I also want to say that Warren County Schools gave every child in the school district a book for the summer. That was amazing. So encourage your child to read that book and then go by the library and get another book. So we're going to read, we're going to write, we're going to just stay productive because the school year is going to start and our children need to be school ready right now. Learning does not stop just because we're out for the summer. Parents, that's your challenge. That's your charge. Please accept it. So as an educator who's going into a new district, how does that feel?
I'm super excited. Moving up to high school, I've always wanted to work with high school students. I haven't had the opportunity yet, so I'm super excited to work with an older group, and I feel like I'll be able to do a lot more and also promote stewardship because, the younger children, they're not able to do as much, but working with high school students, I can promote, stewardship in the community as far as climate change and just some more activism surrounding what's going on right now.
Great. That's a great segue into a whole different area of this conversation, okay? So this young lady is a guru of knowledge. Let me just tell you, we had the best conversation on last evening, and I was educated, and I wanted to further the conversation with you because it's too many times we get stuck in thinking about the retail world and how do we spend our hard-earned dollars and how can we be a better steward of what we have. So talk to me a little bit about that.
I think the best way, and I want to start by saying what we talked about yesterday was great, talking about kind of attacking capitalism because capitalism, a lot of people don't realize, is what holds us down because capitalism needs somebody to be on the bottom. So a lot of times in our community, we like to blame other reasons for why, we're not experiencing growth. And sometimes we turn to each other and also blame each other and say that we're not doing enough. But systemically, we live in a system that wants to hold us down. And the number one way to combat that is to reduce our consumerism, how much we consume from these large corporations that don't care about us. So the first thing to do is starting to shop local and support your local businesses. Black owned is a bonus, but really supporting your local businesses, small crop stands and things like that, farmers markets and things like that are great to support in order to, support the community around you and reduce your consumerism.
Okay. So that was a lot. That was loaded. So here you go. When we have vendor markets, please go out and support. when we have our small vendors and our small business out here pouring into their crafts, pouring into their products, let's support them because, hey, they're pouring love into the product. People that you know, people that you work with every day are making products that we can use. Yes, the big name items are great, but however, we have local vendors right here in our county and our state that we can purchase items from. So please consider small business when you're out here shopping. But I also want to do a plug-in for the farmers market. Warren County is doing a really good job with our farmers market, making sure we have some of the fresh vegetables that you're going to ever find from local farmers. And I know that there's farmers all over North Carolina, but in this part of the five-county area, please support. I know that you've been watching the Brown Farm, Family Farm. They're doing a great job. I know that there's a lot of other farmers out here that's really, really just offering great services and products. So please go out and support them. So how can we get this information to our public? How do we support them? How do we change our paradigm from buying large retail items to small vendors and small business owners? What would you recommend?
I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. It's not that easy, and then our community, our society is set up for it to be hard. Large corporations want it to be easy for you to access them and then choose them first, and so it's gonna take a little extra work to, use the resources you have, to search online, to shop small. Etsy is an online retailer that sells homemade goods and things like that, and products you can buy as far as like skincare and a lot of products from small people instead of the large corporations. There are like the farmers market is one resource to use, and don't feel guilty for having to shop with large corporations because at the end of the day sometimes we just have to do that, but switching out where you can and where possible is the best thing to do.
You said something to me last night which was very important about substituting one item at a time. Switching out is very important. So you don't have to all of a sudden just switch everything, but replace a item at a time, and then you can start seeing that change until you have your own local vendor items in your home and in your network. So I think that's very important. So let's not just go, hey, I'm just going to do the big shift, but let's do some small changes, some substitution a little bit at a time.
Right.
So would you think this is just for, just one population, or is this something that we could do globally for everybody, teaching our children now, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's something we can start now, and also combating consumerism. So even with your kids, they don't have to have every toy. They don't have to have every single thing, and kind of instilling that in your children will reduce consumerism overall. Even as adults, I know, even with me, you want to have every single perfume that they say smells good, even though you're probably going to spray it 5 times. The body wash, you want to have every single one that smells good. And instead of that, investing into some, small businesses that make the same thing that might have a higher price point. You don't have to have 10 body washes and 10 perfumes and 10 body sprays and lotions. You can have 1 or 2 from a small business that put their time and effort into it and doesn't feed into capitalism as a whole.
Okay. So going back to children and their activities and their toys and all of this stuff, so this is also a great way. This is an educator here, so she's speaking from experience. Get your children outside. Get them to make their activities. Get them to really be creative and exploring, hey, what's in front of me? How can I recycle? How can I, reinvent something that I already had? Or maybe go back and, pull something down that they haven't played with in a little bit. But this is not the time of the year that we need to be spending our hard-earned dollars, right?
Right.
You need to think about that?
Yeah, so this is a great time to save money and also find avenues to make more money, especially because we don't know what's to come. So if you have extra clothes or things that you could sell on Facebook Marketplace, or if you're in search of new items, try looking on Facebook Marketplace or thrift shops for secondhand, and you can find some very good things. Donating, and there's places that you can donate like Plato's or Uptown Cheapskate where you can actually receive money for your clothes that you donate. So before just donating it to a large corporation like Goodwill, who does still underpay their workers, you can also try to get some money from it.
That's a good recommendation. This is also the time of year, spring cleaning, summer cleaning, however you want to call it. But this is a time where you can closet swap. You know, hey, maybe I'm not wearing this. Or if you're like me, who's now gotten into a little arts and crafts, how do I change this item into something new?
Right.
How can I learn to sew? How can I learn to stitch? How can I, put something on it, personalize it? This is a store-bought shirt, but now it's a Sharonda Speak shirt, so I've made it mine. So this is one of those things where I believe in thrift stores is a great place. The people are having their community yard sales now, and donate. Your church clothing closet would be a great place to donate items that can go to a family in your community. I'm not telling you don't donate to the Salvation Armies and to the Goodwills. I'm not saying that. But if there's somewhere local that you can donate, and if there's an opportunity for you to take those very same items and bless a family, bless a student, maybe check with your local school system and say, hey, is there a family in need? Check with your local Department of Social Services and say, hey, I have these items. They're gently used. Can I donate, to a family in need? You would be surprised. Adopting a family goes a long, long way. We know people in our community that can benefit from such things as that. I want to go back a little bit to being a young adult in this society. I know, we got the TikToks, we got this, we got that. But even with, makeup and fashion and hair, we can also be mindful about that because we're learning now how to do things ourselves.
Right.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
So definitely being able to do your own hair is a big skill. Natural hair is the move. That movement is somewhat, not as fast moving as it was before. And a lot of us have gone back to investing into the weaves and extensions, and I am part of that as well. This is my vacation hair. But, going back to your natural hair and supporting Black-owned businesses again, purchasing their products, to do your own hair is always a great thing. Locks, learning how to braid, or even within your own community, supporting local braiders, which is something I did. Going to a Black braider is still supporting our community.
Exactly.
So keeping the money in Black pockets is always great as well.
So you've heard a lot here. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to sit down, have the conversation with your children, have the conversation with your family, have a business meeting in your home, talking about saving the dollars, how do we invest within our own communities, how do we refurbish items that we have not used in a while, but we can start putting them back in rotation. This is a great opportunity. The summer is here. We're talking about traveling, we're talking about vacation, we're talking about doing a lot of things, but there's going to be some downtime. This young educator right here has dropped a lot of nuggets today, and I believe we all can benefit from this. I believe that we all can take these tools and we can make it happen. So it was a pleasure for me to have her here. And the thing about it is that you're going to be in Durham County. You come from a long legacy of educators.
Yes.
So with all of that and pouring back into the community and back into children's education, we're going to have her back because we want to talk about how do we move from the summer to the classroom and keeping these children involved. My son is a science kid. It's just as a science educator. So I definitely want to make sure that plug in, find what your child's niche is and what their interest is, and partner them with that person because at the end of the day, there's a lot of tools. This is a toolbox right here, and we want to make sure that your child is well prepared for the new school year. 2025-2026 school year is upon us, and we need to get ready. What would you say to the parents over the summer? Kids are sitting around, ready to explore. What are you going to tell those parents?
If you're a parent and your kids are just sitting at home with nothing to do, I say take them outside. That's like the number one thing to do. Not too far from here, there's a state park, Haw River State Park. If you want to make that like a mini vacation, it's not far at all. It's a very nice day trip. There's so many gyms there where they can learn about nature, they can learn about earth. There's so much for them to learn. Taking them to the library, again, as I mentioned before, the library is a wonderful resource. If you have the means to travel outside of Warren County, to another county library, I like to hop around. So I visit the library in Winston-Salem, in Durham, in Charlotte if I'm there. I love to visit local libraries because it's a free resource, and they also host events at larger libraries as well that you can truly benefit from.
Yeah, the corporate extension is a wonderful opportunity for your children, like you said, the library. But this also goes back into our core topic here about saving the dollars, invest in them into our community, and
Right.
making sure you never know, your child may have a gift or interest, and this would be a great way to help develop that.
Right.
I know a vendor who makes soap. You know what? Maybe he could do a workshop for the young kids. So whatever it is, support small businesses, support black businesses, support local businesses. And it's not about race, it's about local. Making sure that you know that these are local entities right here in your county. And we need to make sure we're promoting just that, promoting that. Because she said a lot, and when you're talking about your American dollars right now, the climate is such that we need to be saving. And while we're saving, we need to be investing in our own communities. And if you're here in Warren County, we have a lot of events that goes on every week here in the county, and we have vendors that's out there. Please support those vendors. And if you're a vendor and you have products that you would like to promote, please put them in the bottom of this video, so that way the public can see what you have to offer. Or if you're going to be attending a vendor sale or something or event, please let us know. Put the flyer in the chat, because we want to make sure that we are talking about these same dollars that she spoke about. And when you're looking at purchasing local items, one item at a time, replacing is what you said, right? One item at a time.
One item at a time is all you need to do.
Okay.
Take it slow.
Take it slow. Take it slow. Anything you want to say to the people?
Well, I just want to wrap it up with saying that, it's important to stick together as a community, not just black people. Of course, we're black. I'm going to mention black people. I love my people. But your local community as a whole, it's important that we stick together, especially as a working class people. A lot of times we like to attack each other, especially when it comes to politics and things. But we have to remember that we're all on the same level, and we're all closer to homelessness than we are to becoming part of that 1% or a millionaire. So, a billionaire, more so. But, it's important for us to stick together and not attack each other, and just to support each other as a community. Also, recognizing accurate information. Wherever you're receiving your information from, double check, always source the facts. If you're on Facebook scrolling and you see something that seems a little outrageous, try to find a reputable source online that could back up that claim, and if it's not true, then you'll know. So make sure we're doing that as well.
I learned something new yesterday too, and it was the all right, yes. I'm gonna be using
Clock
that
tea.
So watch for that. But listen, do what Miss Ashanti did. Come talk to me before you talk yourself out of your next event. Whatever you have going on, your event is important to me. I want to be here to support you. If you have ideas, if you have a topic that you need to get out and you want to just have the conversation, we had a wonderful conversation, and I didn't want to just keep it to myself. I wanted to share it with you, because I learned so much from this young educator. I learned so much from this young woman who's sharing about, hey, Sharonda, replace one item at a time. You don't have to have all of these name brand items when you can get the same item from your local vendor. That was education for me, and I just want to share that with you, because guess what? There's a lot of people out here pouring a lot of hard-earned time and love in their products, and I just want to make sure that you know and learn what I learned on yesterday, that this is not the time to be spending your hard-earned dollars. Let's make sure that we're saving, making sure that we're educated, and making sure that we're supporting each other. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Go out, be great, enjoy your summer.